cryptocurrency trader here in Puerto Rico. So Mitch, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and tell them what you do for a living.
Hey everyone, my name is Mitch. I am a cryptocurrency trader. Moved out here to Puerto Rico about 8 months ago and never looked back. You know, the tax benefits are quite impressive, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity if you ask me.
So Mitch, what's your background or education? Like, how'd you get into, where you are right now?
So I've always been kind of like a techie. When I was in high school, I had a JTAG, an Xbox 360, if you know what that is. Essentially what it did is it allowed you to run modded code on a game. So like my very first experience with coding was me going into Modern Warfare 2 and this game called Modern Warfare 2 Zombies that somebody created. And I was in there forging the map, if you're familiar with Halo 3 Forge.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was forging the map with care packages. So I would like create this structure with care packages that like you could open a door, or like it was just like this cool like in the air wherever you want structure. And like you could only do it on System Link because the Xbox was obviously banned. They knew it was mine. And I remember one time, like we had 12 people in my basement on System Link, and it was a great time. But that kind of really opened my eyes up to what the possibilities were when it comes to like coding, what I want to go into. So I ended up becoming a computer engineer. I worked in a factory, and I was not in a factory, but like I worked for a company that essentially programmed the motors that makes things in factories, or like building HVAC systems, one of the two. And so I'd go to different factories, and it was fun. And like I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, because when did you learn about cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so that is a funny story. I think this is how it happens for a lot of the really, really early people. So I actually bought my first Bitcoin at $25.
Oh, wow.
But, unfortunately, I didn't become a holder until 2017. I'm sure you can imagine what I was doing that first time around. So as everyone knows, the Silk Road is...
now defunct.
Well, I was on the Silk Road 1, 2, and 3, so basically, this one guy, maybe you've heard of him, his name is Joe Rogan. He went through these talks on DMT, and as a high school kid, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I have to get it. Obviously, I knew no one. Figured it out. I was like, okay. And then, I ended up buying like a fake ID on there, and like some weed and whatever. But obviously, I would have a lot more money if I was a frickin' hodler back then. But I'm thankful that, it did bring me in 2017. I got to ride up and down the market in 2017, lose my shirt, kind of like figure out like, this is no joke. Well, I mean, that was a very, very explosive time with altcoins. Like, that altcoin season is something that will never be replicated because, man, those coins, that was like 10x in a week. Like it was like a month, and then it was gone, and it was pretty crazy.
I mean, hindsight is 2020.
Oh.
And
I didn't know what it was, bro. Like I didn't understand. And the craziest part of it all is, I'm sure like the Bitcoin chart and all that. So like I saw it going up in 2013, and I'm like, man, maybe I should put some money behind this, because I was like, I bought it at 25, and then it was at 600, and then it was at 1,000. I'm like, what is going on here? And unfortunately, I didn't I was so young, like I didn't get into like truly investing until like they picked back up in 2017. That's what actually like piqued my interest in investing, which I'm super thankful for, because I think that's a pretty good hobby to have.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you're not taking control of your finances, you're letting everybody else control it for you. Because inflation was what, 7% just last month? and 7% for all of 2021. That's not sustainable. How many of you guys got a 7% raise? If you didn't, you lost money.
Yeah.
Welcome to the government. Yeah. But so you initially found Bitcoin and it was just this magical internet money, but were you ever intrigued about the, how would you call it, the software behind it, its potential being a currency, or was it just something that had value and that's all you saw in it?
No, totally. So I mean, coming from kind of like a techie software perspective, like it was pretty clear once like 2017 kind of came into my frame of mind, and like in the 2018 run and all that, I got kind of, I'm not gonna say con, but like you get influenced really well, especially as a teenager. And so this once famous 2017 YouTuber by the name of Superman. If you ever heard of him.
I haven't heard of him.
Okay, but he was like, never sell. Why would you fucking sell? And that was kind of the mindset of people, is just that these assets only go up because that's all they had experienced at the time. Whereas the true veterans of the early days, like Crypto Cobain, one of the greatest people on crypto Twitter, I guess he's rebranded to Kobe now. Man, as he says, hodling is for poor people. And now that I've become like a proficient trader, I like kind of tend to agree, because I don't think this time is different, and I'm getting excited to buy the blood.
That's true. The weak hands, or the paper hands, as people like to say it,
Sure.
or people trading on margin, they're going to get liquidated.
Yeah, well,
and then,
it's not only so it is the people trading on margin. I mean, that is, unfortunately, the bane of this market, is that there is an absurd amount of leverage, just because, hey, VPN, you want 50x? Hey, dude, like, no big deal. Deposit some money, here you go. And, people don't know what they're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I got freaking tossed, man. I lost like a good amount of money on that May drop, because I was like, up only. Like, you get into this. The problem is there's so many people on crypto Twitter who, not necessarily crypto Twitter, because crypto Twitter is better, but YouTube, that will show you their bags. They'll say, we're in a bull market, like, because people are naturally bullish on crypto. And I am too, of course. But you have to realize that there are cycles to everything. There are ups and downs. It's not always wise to be fully invested in the market.
And I guess that brings me to my next point. Where do you get your information? Do you use like news sites, social media, YouTube? Like, where do you get your information that you trust from?
Yeah, absolutely. It has taken me a long time. I have a list of people that I think are really crucial followers. I can send it to you, and maybe you can put it in the description.
Yeah, we'll post his links in the description below, so if you guys want to check out his own personal sources. But why don't you mention your favorite two?
I'm a really big fan of DeFi Brian. He's really in the know. Obviously, no one gets everything right. As a crypto native, I think we're like kind of degens at heart. So like, you do have to kind of rationalize like some of the things he says, but he's on top of his shit. Another one, his name is Crypto Frog. He's made me a sizable amount of money. Like, when I thought all hope was lost, like, was moving to Puerto Rico a mistake? Like, I was going through all these emotions of getting down on margin, all my coins being down, me not taking profit, like all these, simple mistakes that pretty much everyone has to go through, brought me through like a lot of strong projects that really turned it around for me. And I think that's something that like a lot of people lose sight of, is it's so easy for the market to just be down only for like, an extended period of time. In crypto, that can flip in a matter of like days. Like, it just, all of a sudden it's like a 180 and you're just like, what just happened? And so if you're not really on top of your shit, like you could really miss miss out on some amazing opportunities. And you know, it's been a battle for me because it's, especially as a trader, man, these 24/7 markets will absolutely ruin you if you're just like in a position 24/7. You have these alerts set, like you're possibly waking up in the middle of the night. I was up till like 6 a.m. last night buying a dip. So like, you know, it's not an easy lifestyle, at least as a trader. But if you're talking like, you know, a holder, like a person who just wants to trade spot, it's a bit easier, but it is definitely trying to pick your times to go in big, find the correct information.
So this whole channel is about the average people of cryptocurrency. So for the average person who may have their normal 9-to-5 job, what advice would you give them getting into cryptocurrency and be able to get that financial freedom that you're currently enjoying?
You want to try and find the people who I'll list in the description, who put out early stage projects that can give you a high upside. That is, bar none, the easiest way to make it in crypto. Timing does matter. Another thing I will say is you have to restrict FOMO or be okay with consequences. Once you kind of get ingrained with everything, you get acclimated, like it'll probably take the average person like 4 to 6 months. Once you can identify what makes a project strong, which is tokenomics, is absolutely massive. Essentially, crypto is all game theory of money. What the strongest and most knowledgeable people are trying to do is they're trying to put as much deflation on a coin as they can. They're trying to create all these incentives or inflation in the terms of, we're just gonna pay you a ridiculous amount and it's a Ponzi. But you have to know it's a Ponzi and you take profits. If you looked at the Ohm chart, the time chart, these coins that were paying out like 60,000% APY, like I was making like $4 grand a week, $5 grand a week, just staking these coins because they were like printing. But if you're not taking like the whole methodology was like, it's called 3-3, which is essentially like you have like 9 options: hold, stake, and you have to understand the psychology of what other people are doing. Because if you don't understand what other people are doing in the market, then you're their exit liquidity. So as long as you're taking profits on the way up, there was like 13 weeks of red candles, which is insane. And so,
which means down days.
Yeah, very down. It went from 1100 to 100 in 13 weeks. So like, you know, you have to be prepared for this situation. And one of my biggest things, it's so easy to just take profit and rotate into the next altcoin. I'm a victim of this. You always have to rationalize holding like some cash for a dip, like no matter what, unless you are a proficient trader. And if you really want to become a trader, like there's only one place I can recommend, and that is chartchampions.com. That man is a genius. He is a billionaire who set out to teach people how to trade because he was so fed up with everything that is taught on YouTube. And I can full-heartedly stand by what he does because he has changed so many people's lives, including mine.
So your advice to the normal person is, 1, do your own research. 2, find a very new project or look at existing projects that have actual tokenomics, which I'll post description of tokenomics in the link below. 3, only invest what you're willing to lose. And then 4, make sure that you have some extra cash on hand so when you see a buying opportunity, you have the capital to jump in and take advantage of what you've been researching.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, unfortunately, cryptocurrency is so much about technical analysis. It's really ridiculous. And so, like, I am perfectly okay with trading my entire balance. I have risk metrics. I will not there is a chance I could get offsides, but it is unlikely that I will sit through a liquidation cascade, which is ever so evident in crypto because of the amount of leverage that people use.
Don't trade on margin.
Unless you go through charging. But even then, you have to paper trade for a while to really get it.
So Mitch, I guess that brings me to my next point. What projects are you currently happy about or looking to invest in or are invested in?
The ones I'm definitely most interested in is DeFi. DeFi is
Decentralized finance.
decentralized finance is going to be enormous. There's two reasons that I'm most interested in it, maybe three. And that's the market caps aren't like hugely bloated like a lot of these L1s. A lot of these L1s that are the platforms that like apps will be built on, keyword will,
L1, layer 1.
layer one, Ethereum competitors, another great.
So Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, all those.
Sure, any of those. Some do have like things going for it, but you know, in general, a lot of that is just hype on what it's going to become. And you know, I just see so many more competitors coming that, you know, good luck. So my main focus of investment is in DeFi. And with DeFi, I look for deflationary tokenomics. So there's these protocols called Curve and Convex, which you probably heard of before. They're becoming super popular. You know, Curve is like net deflationary right now because of the demand. So essentially, with Curve, you have 90% of the supply is locked up for 3.7 years. And you have all of these protocols competing for Curve in order to have the voting rights to vote Curve's inflation policies to their protocols. So a lot of different DeFi apps depend on Curve in order to provide yield to their users. So they are inherently incentivized to buy and stake Curve to get those rewards. But the trick is, when it comes to Convex, Convex actually has the most locked in stake Curve. So they have the most voting power. So it's actually more efficient to buy Convex in order to vote to where the Curve rewards are delegated to.
And if you guys are curious about any of these projects he's currently talking about, I will post links to their websites in the description below.
So then you have a huge demand for Convex because they want that voting power. So what actually happens is people lend out their voting power for right now about 40% APY. And I think it's like a 4-month lockup. But that's hugely beneficial. And because these protocols depend on the yield, I don't see this net inflationary pressure going away anytime soon, and more the supply will continue to be locked up. Some other protocols I'm really interested in is Toke.
Toke. So T-O-K?
T-O-K-E.
T-O-K-E.
Yeah, so that's a protocol that essentially is trying to concentrate liquidity. So much of an issue with people trying to become liquidity providers, which is essentially you provide 2 tokens into a pool at 50% each. And then in that pool, that's where people can buy and sell. So if one token goes up a lot, you get a lot more of the other in the pool. So you could get what's called impermanent loss. If one token goes up a lot, you lose some of the upside because the other token is sold into the pool. But you're given a yield in order to mitigate that loss. But what Toke does is essentially they provide single-sided liquidity pool staking. And what's going to happen is all these protocols similar to Curve, they're going to compete for this single-sided liquidity staking because they know inherently that this is a much smarter way to do things because of the impermanent loss risk that many people don't want to face. And they can also get higher yields from this. So similar to what's called the Curve Wars, I think there's also going to be something called the Toke Wars. And
Could you explain what the Curve Wars are and the Toke Wars?
Sure. So essentially what it is it's just protocols vying for this token that is essentially locked up in order to get the voting power to send the most amount of the inflation rate of Curve or Toke to said protocol in order for them to provide their users with yield. Then I'll go to my last big one, which I'm a super big fan of. It's called DPX, DOPEX.
DPX.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a huge alpha leak. If there's someone you should follow blindly on their projects, his name is Tetranode. He is a giga whale, and he doesn't care about money. He's so rich, it's absurd. He cares about vying for owning as many tokens as possible. That's his thing. That's his status.
So like a billion Doge or something like that.
Well, I don't know that I'd hold Doge, but that's because I think it's going back to a penny.
Not if Elon Musk has anything to say about it.
I don't think it matters what Elon Musk says, but that's just me.
But about this Giga whale, go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, like, you could just blindly follow his new projects and you'll make money. If you get in early, no matter what, you'll probably pull a 3 to 10x, honestly.
So with all these projects you brought up and just discussed, what would in your personal opinion, not financial advice, what would be your recommendation? Are you a trader with these tokens or a buy and holder?
Well, I'm a trader at heart, and I wish I could get out of, that mentality. However, it has proved to be the right decision in a lot of cases, being that I think we're in a bearish market. But I would say it's DPX or RDPX, which I didn't really go into, which is essentially decentralized options. And so what they're creating all these strategies in order to essentially do all of the new DeFi tricks with like voting, kind of similar to the curve wars, creating deflationary pressure on the token, giving back rewards to the token holders who are staked from protocol fees. And so I think decentralized options is going to be huge because you can essentially do it on any asset. So you can do it on gold, you can do it on stocks, you can do it on anything because it's a synthetic asset that is just traded by a contract pegged by this protocol. And so it allows you to not only create an option, but it also allows you to get yield on said option. So it's a super innovative thing that I see the world moving to, as I see much more importance that will come towards decentralized exchanges, decentralized options. These products are going to be huge. It's just a matter of who can do it right. And Tetranode is the best tokenomics in the game. So I see no reason why this project won't absolutely crush.
And so we're going to do a quick rapid fire 2 questions right here. Are you a Bitcoin maximalist? Yes or no? When it comes to hodling.
I am not a Bitcoin maximalist. I am a profit maximalist. I'm actually, 85, maybe 90% cash right now. I just saw the market looks to put in another lower high. As a trader, your number one objective is protection of capital.
And number 1 token you are most excited about right now?
God, it's got to be DPX.
DPX?
Maybe RDPX. The RDPX is, there's still more and more information coming out about it, but essentially it's the rebate token of DopeX. They say it's going to be backed 3/4 by stables, and they're also looking to back it by non-pegged stables that provide yield like OHM and all these other basket of assets that essentially, can give a higher upside than a US dollar backing.
Excellent. Well, if you guys made it this long during the video, thank you guys so much for watching. So we will be posting a video on Mitch's take on Bitcoin's current price and where it's going in our next video. Be sure to like and subscribe and share this video if you found it interesting. Thank you so much.